So, ready to start?
Go.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, because we are having attendees from a lot of different countries. And today we will be very proud and happy to have possibility to stay here with you and speak with you about one of the most trend topic for testing labs, which is the possibility to scaling wet chemistry automation for high throughput labs. And during this webinar, we will see what are the main challenges affecting the daily routine or having an impact on the daily routine of for labs. And we will see how KPM, in this case MS, which is the wet chemistry brand of KPM, can help you, providing you a solution to help you removing all those problems concerning the improving of the efficiency of your lab, concerning possibility to fully automate and streamline the workflow, the analytical process, and how you can also be fully compliant concerning the full audit trail concerning software that can help you also to have a full and easy accreditation of the system and the methods. So this session is recorded, and a reply link will follow, will be shared with all of you. Duration is around 40 minutes concerning the speak session, and then we will have a dedicated session for Q&A. And please, concerning Q&A, use the dedicated area, and all the questions will be addressed at the end of the speech session. And by default, all the cameras and the microphones are muted, are off. And so let me introduce you. I'm Claudio Strina. I'm the product manager at KPM Analytics, in this case for MS wet chemistry products range, and having more than 15 years experience working with MS. And so today we would like to start addressing what are the main challenges, the main problem, pain points that labs are suffering daily based in managing their routine. Because as you know better than me, one of the most challenged part today is the constant increasing of samples, the constant increasing of the different matrices that labs need to analyze on those samples, and also the increasing of the parameters, the analytes that need to be tested on those samples for each specific metrics. Consequently, labs need to take into account also the costs related to consumables, so the OPEX that will define also the profitability of the analysis, the need of consistent, reproducible analytical performances, and all those challenges need to be managed a lot of times with limited lab resources and with a really high staff turnover. So, having in front of us all those points that need to be managed from labs, we will see today how MS, the chemistry brand of KPM, can help you. MS have been established in 1992, fully dedicated to development, design, manufacturing, sales, and distribution with support for analytical chemistry solution based on segmented flow, discrete analyzers, and lactic acid bacteria fermentation monitoring solutions. MS is based in Rome, so the factory is based in Rome, but distributing and providing service support worldwide. In today's webinar, our focus will be totally dedicated to our discrete analyzers, to the SmartChem series product line, where the SmartChem series product line are fully automated discrete analyzers for multi-parametric testing with direct in cuvette reading, means that all the reactions are, the read of all the reactions are performed in the same cuvette where the reaction is performed, for photometric and electrochemical testing. And now let's see how we can streamline the lab operation. So when approaching discrete analyzers, we can already take into account one of the most trend topic, which is the lab consolidation, because today for labs, it's important to optimize not only human resources, but also all those resources involved in the analytical process. So by consolidating with KPM solutions, different instrument techniques, in this case on discrete analyzer, we can really help labs in improving the efficiency. How? Because by consolidating different techniques, and how we can see here in this example, we can consolidate on the discrete analyzer flame photometer testing, for example, on sodium, potassium that could be performed colorimetrically with wet chemistry, electrochemical testing for pH, conductivity, and ORP. We can perform with wet chemistry also those methods that are performed with titration, with the ion chromatography. Of course, a discrete analyzer cannot replace at all those other techniques, but can reduce the need of using. For example, one of the most trend for a lot of labs is to move, mainly when speaking about wastewater, so dirty matrices that could impact on ion chromatography on the discrete analyzer, because it is possible to preserve the column, the detector, and so we can reduce the cost per test, we can reduce the number of instruments, of course, that we need to manage daily based on for the routine. We can reduce the workload related for calibration and QCs, because we need to just calibrate one instrument instead of all the instruments that need to be involved in the analytical process. So we can reduce the attention of the workload for the operators, the required footprint in the lab, because also today the space is one of the main issues in the labs, because a lot of different techniques are required based on the new trends, so as we say, the need to go down much we can for the detection limits. So a lot of different techniques are involved. They're reducing the number of service and support activities contracts related to each different instrument. So reducing the staff training and requirements, of course, if just one platform could be involved in the analytical process. And we can optimize, consequently, the activities run by the lab staff. Why? Because to manage the daily routine, instead of be involving a lot of operators, one or more than one for each technique, with just one or two operators loading the solutions inside the instrument are enough to perform, because then the instrument itself will take care about all analytical steps needed to perform the wet chemistry testing on samples loaded on board for the needed parameters. The plus of the discrete analyzers is that we don't need to separate the different matrices, so we can run in the same instrument different work plans, so different kind of matrices on different kind of parameters, all at the same time. And it means that the lab staff can really be dedicated in performing high value activities in the lab instead of taking care about instruments and perform on semi-auto or manual techniques. So it means that we can really have cost saving and increase in terms of efficiency when consolidating. We spoke about electrochemical testing, and so on all our instruments, it is possible to also install the NO3 cadmium reduction module that allows to perform the TON or NOx, so testing passing through the cadmium coil. One of the big plus is that on all smart chems, the regeneration activation procedure is driven by the software, so there is no need for the operator to manage to handle the cadmium coil. The only need is to load on board the solution. The software will dispensate and will take care about all the processes needed to perform the activation regeneration. And also the coil and all the solutions could be ready to use and just with the need to load them on board. Of course, this is not the only technique. We have to determine TON, because with SmartChem, we can also perform TON testing with hydrazine reduction or vanadium chloride reduction. And moreover, there is also an electrochemical module that allows also to automate the pH, conductivity, and ORP testing on our discrete analyzers. As we said, we can reduce cost because passing from semi-auto techniques or manual techniques, automatically we are passing from milliliters needed for the testings to microliters concerning samples and reagents. And it means that we can have benefits concerning cost saving before testing, because we need less amount of chemicals to be prepared in terms of reagents and standards, and consequently after the testing, less amount of chemical waste generated by the instrument. So all the smart chems are equipped with reusable cuvettes. So thanks to an integrated washing system. And it means that SmartChem series products are only generating liquid waste. And moreover, those waste, thanks to dedicated waste lines, can be also divided between standard disposal wash waste that are not in the need of any collection treatment, and reaction waste. We can consider that around only 30% of the waste generated is a reaction waste. So with the need of having collection and dedicated treatment. This is an example of automation and how we can help labs also in really approach automation and cost saving. So we just developed a new method based on a manual kit available today on the market for monochloramine testing. And this has been really for labs a huge jump, a huge improvement, because with the actual current manual procedure, with one reagent powder, it is possible just to run one sample, while automating the same kit on SmartChem with one reagent powder, we have been able to analyze up to 50 samples. This is why we can really speak that passing from manual methods, also with the manual kit available today on the market, we can pass from euros to cents. And we are open to collaborate with our distributors and our customers to study and develop any new method that could be automated with our wet chemistry discrete analyzers. We spoke about reusable cuvettes. All the SmartChem are equipped with technical polymer cuvettes. And on SmartChem 450, it is possible to have quartz cuvettes. So the reusable single footprint optimizes the running cost and allow us to have a greener approach. As we can see from the picture, we have an integrated 5-step programmable washing station. Each cuvette is automatically checked for the integrity. A quality check of the cuvette is performed at the end of each wash. So it means that after using a cuvette, the cuvette will be washed by the washing station. The system will automatically check the integrity, the quality of the cuvette. And on all SmartChem, we have 10mm optical path cuvettes, which is fully matching what is defined by the different norms, different guidelines. SmartChem also offer all the SmartChem series a true walk-away experience. Why? Because different from those instruments working with disposal cuvettes, we do not require the cuvette loading from the operator, because cuvettes will be washed automatically, and after the wash, each cuvette is ready for a new test. We can load on board of the instrument multiple caps for standard and QCs. For reagents, it is possible to load on board multiple bottles for reagents and diluents. This is very important because for daily routines with an EV samples number, or for overnight routines, we can really offer a true walkaway experience. And moreover, when a new routine will be started, the software will automatically check, thanks to the automatic inventory management, if all the solutions on board are enough to complete the required number of testing. If not, as we can see in this slide, the software will pop up the reagent level status, allowing the operators to go and on the reagent plate and refill or load new bottles for those reagents that are not enough. Moreover, an automatic startup shutdown procedure have been implemented on our instruments. It means that it is possible to program when the instrument needs to start automatically in the morning. We can define what are the operations. For example, we can also schedule to run automatically calibrations, RBL calibrations, before we will arrive in the lab. In this way, the instrument is fully ready to run samples. And also, we can define when the instrument, when the software needs to be switched off, and what are the operations to be performed. We can really offer a fully automated and enhanced calibration checks. This is really important. Why? Because we are not anymore prone to any human interpretation of the results, the quality of the calibration and the RBLs, because we can fully automate management of the RBLs, As we can see, we have auto rerun or reagent changes or RBL expiration. What does it mean? When loading on board multiple bottles of reagents, when the instrument will pass from the one in use that is empty to a new bottle, the instrument will take care to automatically rerun the RBLs, and the new RBLs will be applied to the new samples. We can define the acceptance criteria for the RBLs, the minimum and maximum value. And this is really important, because if we'll take into account nitrite testing, we know that the NO2 reagent is light sensitive. It will pass from fully transparent to quite dark pink. And when it is too colored, it is losing in sensitivity. And this is why, thanks to the RBL, we can monitor what is the absorbance, the color of the reagent baseline. And if not in our specs, we can directly be informed by the software. We can define the minimum acceptable R square with automatic behavior on failure. We will see what does it mean. We can define the mean and max slope for linear calculation regression models. Why? Because R square will tell us if the instrument is properly working when preparing and analyzing the calibration point. While with the mean and max slope, we can be confident about the quality of the standard used for our calibration. Why? Because we may have an R square equal to 1, but the standard could be underestimated or overestimated, and consequently, our calibration is not okay. So we can automate this control. Moreover, for linear and non-linear regression models, we can also define the minimum, the acceptance range in terms of absorbance for each calibration point. And in addition, we can run each point in replicates, and we can also define the threshold value for the CV percentage, for the coefficient of variation. So in this way, we can also check the accuracy and the repeatability of the instrument in preparing multiple times each calibration point. We can also offer to labs a fully automated and enhanced management for QCs, duplicates, and spikes, because we have a dedicated area where we can define the duplicates. We can define our acceptance threshold value for the RPD percentage. And as we can see, also for duplicates, the duplicate of the spike and QCs, we have the behavior in case of failure. So it means that in this case, for example, every 10 samples, the sample will be run twice. The software will automatically compare the result of the sample and its duplicate, and will check the RPD percentage. We can also automate management of the spikes. It is possible to define more than one spike level. Concerning the spike, we can define what is the recovery percentage. We can accept, and in compliance with requirements from FDA, also, we can run the duplicate of the spike. So with the duplicate, we can check the repeatability of the instrument in running twice the sample, so on the real matrix. With the spike, we can check the accuracy of the instrument in performing the spiking of the sample. And with the duplicate of the spike, we can check the repeatability of the instrument in performing two subsequent spiking on the real sample. So it means that we can really have 360 degrees control on the quality of our result, and everything is automatic. Also concerning samples, QCs, we can define an attending number of QCs. we can directly define the min and max, and the software will automatically calculate the attended value, the target value, and the standard deviation. On each QC, we can define when we want the QC scheduled between our samples. So initial, before start the analysis, final at the end of the analytical routine. Dynamic, it means between samples with the frequency we can define after how many samples we want to schedule the selected QC. As we can see, like we have on the R square for the duplicate and the duplicate of the spike, we have the possibility to specify the behavior in case of failure. So what does it mean? If the results are not within the defined criteria, we can, in this case for QCs, rerun the QCs, or we can check and then select one of the options for on fail. If also rerun fails, we have another set of options. In this case, we could decide to just stop the method of interest, and the instrument will automatically continue the routine for all other methods. Or we can also ask the system to recalibrate and then rerun. And of course, starting from that QC for the rest of samples, the new calibration, will be applied. Otherwise, as defined, all samples before the QC will be reanalyzed. In this way, we can be confident that all our samples results will be in between of two QC's blocks passed successfully. So why this is very important? Because we know very well that when defining all those rules in the software will apply concerning calibration, QCs, spikes, duplicates, those rules automatically when performing tests. So if no flags are assigned to samples, to testings, to results, it means that all our results are inside our acceptance criteria. So the only operation in charge for our operator is to check that no flags are assigned to our samples. Very important, we can also for QCs define the specific type. So based on EPA requirements, we can define the QC as ECV, ECB, or one of the 9 levels of the CCV. And automatically, the software will automatically manage the scheduling based on the type of the QC. As per the EPA requirements, as already saw, we have the control of the R square with corrective actions, duplicate with corrective actions. We have multiple spikes with the possibility to define the duplicates of the spike and the complete list of QC. Moreover, we also have a dedicated scheduling mode for the EPA, strictly follow the EPA guidance. Moreover, we can also offer a fully automated and enhanced management for out-of-range results. Why? Because a new intelligent algorithm have been implemented inside the SmartChem software. So it means that with a single post dilution, we can move the sample inside the range. And also there is the possibility with the reflex feature to, instead of, for example, apply in the post dilution, to rerun the sample with a dedicated different calibration or method. Moreover, we implemented also the possibility to control the sample blank for our testings. We can define what is the threshold value we can accept, and based on this value, we can also set post dilutions to dilute the color of our sample. And also in this case, we only need to set those information when programming the method, and then the software will apply and those rules automatically when running testings. Very, very important today is the fully compliance with 21 CFR 11 concerning full traceability, full audit trail in the software, because we have the electronic records and signature implemented in the software. We can manage and be fully compliant with this requirement also concerning data integrity and security, and also concerning the backup and recovery procedures. Let's see a bit more in detail what does it mean. In SmartCam, it is possible to define, to access with dedicated user and password. We can define multi-level user profile. So for one example is the admin user, the lab manager user, and the operator account. Moreover, we have the full user login history with the possibility to see for a specific log what have been done, what have been changed, for example, on a specific method. Moreover, we also implemented the possibility to have a simplified user interface for the operators, because we implemented the possibility to have the advanced view menu where it is possible to access the full menu, so access the different software areas. And of course, we can decide which one in edit mode, which one only in view mode. And moreover, we also define a simplified view, which is, in this case, the operator view menu, where operators can only access the system to run testing. Those platforms, as we saw, are fully automated, and also like introduced in the beginning of this presentation, they are really, really flexible, because we can really manage all our routine with a very easy to use and intuitive graphic interface. So the software layout is matching one-to-one the hardware. So passing from software to the hardware is very easy. We can run multiple parameters per sample, multiple parameters in the same routine, and moreover, multiple work plans per run. What does it mean? If we are in the need to divide our routine based on our matrices or divide or group by customers, so we can easily group all our samples as per our need, load all of them together and run. Very important is the interface with the LIMS system, because we can also import directly the work plans from the LIMS, and we can manage it via CSV files or via ASTM, so the American Society for Testing and Materials, where in one case the LIMS is preparing on CSV the analytical routine, we can directly import it, or with the ASTM protocol, this is the real-time query. So we can ask, thanks to the barcode reader we have on sample, scan a specific sample and ask the system what are the testing to be done. So we can work in both modality concerning LIMS interface. And it is really important, because if the system is fully equipped with barcode readers for samples and reagents, because also reagent can be easily automatically recognized thanks to the barcode readers. Samples could be barcoded, so with the sample we can automatically recognize samples on board, and importing the working list from the LIMS, we can also skip any human error concerning definition of the routine and positioning of the liquids on board, because we can place samples as we prefer. System will scan and knows exactly which sample is in which position. The same for the reagents, importing from LIMS the analytical routine. We only need to check that we have enough everything ready to go and start. Also concerning results, we spoke about full audit trail, full traceability. Every time we have a single result, a single test, we have a set of features available for the selected test, and we can view at any time with the view method what were the method settings used to obtain the selected result for the selected parameter, selected method. We can recall with the view calibration the calibration used to obtain the result. We can access the view QC results, so see the quality controls charts for the selected method. We have the possibility to recalculate a result by editing the current calibration or by using a different calibration. And we can also, in this case, export the result to LIMS. So with the SmartCam series, we have bidirectional communication with LIMS. Very important also is the calibration results view, because it's very clear, very comprehensive, allowing really important features, because we can compare the current calibration curve with the previous one or any previous calibration. We have the possibility to rerun a single calibration point. So if one point is not fitting as we want the curve, we don't need to rerun the full calibration, but we can ask the system to only rerun, as we can see here, only the selected point. We have a dedicated archive where all the calibration are stored. And from the archive, we can decide to activate any previous calibration already executed. And moreover, for each single calibration point, we can see the historical graph. So see for each point the trend of the absorbances over time. We have a fully integrated quality control charts. So we have possibility to view raw data in the Levi-Jennings graph, with the possibility for a specific method also to compare two QCs in the same chart. For example, the low QCs and the high QC. And we also implemented, as required from some labs, also the UDEN graph, the radar chart, to have a bit more information concerning how results are spread in the 4 quadrants. Moreover, we have the full statistics already included in the software. So we don't need to use any external tool. Also, during the accreditation step, to prove the quality of our control, to manage the QC charts also. And very important, we also introduce a troubleshooting guide library. So we already have integrated in the software not only the software guide, the online guide, which is already contest awareness. So it means that both the software guide and the online multimedia library will be directly proving you information concerning the software area where you are. So in the multimedia library, we can provide videos, screenshots, and online documentation. And it's really, really helpful, because we can really focus on what we need, and we can go straight on to the solution. So we don't need to perform any try. We can just go and obtain the information we need. So as we saw, it is really, really important today to automate to not only the analytical process, but it's important to automate all those operations concerning result evaluation, so quality of our results, and possibility to have full audit trail already in the system, because we'll help us to be 100% confident about the result we are obtaining. We can really reduce cost passing from mLs to microliters. We can really streamline the process because less amount of operators needed to cover our analytical routine. And so, if please you would like also to further investigate, we remain at your full disposal for further meetings, for online demos. So please do not hesitate to visit our website, so kpmanalytics.com, or to contact our sales representative, and with him we will be very happy to approach you and schedule a further session to deepen with you your questions. So now we are in the Q&A sessions. We have a questions from Elena. The list of parameters that can be tested, we can share with you, because to the intended call today, of course, was just to prove and see how we can streamline. Of course, we can perform also on our website. There is the full list of different matrices, so from water environmental testing to soil, fertilizer and plant extracts, food and feed testing, beverages, so wine, beer, and beverages in general. And for all those matrices, we have a really, really huge panel of parameters that can be tested. For all those parameters, we are in the ppb range, not with sensitivity, as we say, like ion chromatography or other really high sensitive techniques, but in the range of ppb. So otherwise, if you would like to have bit more in-depth information, please contact our sales representative, and we will be very happy to schedule a dedicated meeting with you, providing all the information you need concerning matrices, parameters, and limit of detection, limit of quantitation for those parameters. There is another question. Do you have integration of analytical balances to fit the standard weight and sample weight for the result evaluation? No, unfortunately, no. We cannot integrate the analytical balance to manage this part, unfortunately, because it's as you can manage. We could, in case, evaluate with you what are your needs, and if we can add a feature in the software allowing you, if needed, assigning this information to the sample, and then manage any calculation with this information. So please do not hesitate to contact us. It could be really interesting to understand and deepen your requirement, your request. So there is another question from Pete Jansma. So how do you cope with wastewater and Leshat samples? Of course, when we are managing those kind of wet chemistry testing, we can we are in the need of filtering with 0.45 micrometers, filter the samples to prevent any particulate that could affect, clog the system, or also impact in the cuvette when performing the reading of the reactions. As we saw, we have the possibility to manage the sample blank, and for a lot of our customers, this feature have been implemented to manage those kind of matrices, because a lot of time when we are in the need of testing soil for pollution or wastewater, samples could have really a dark color. This color could impact on the testing, and this is why we implemented the possibility to define the threshold value for the sample blank, and based on this, we can automatically detect the sample blank. So put the sample in the cuvette, read the absorbance of the sample itself, and if the absorbance detected is over the threshold defined in the method, the software can automatically dilute the sample to reduce the color. In this way, we can be 100% sure that color is not impacting on the result. Because it is really, really important to point out now, based on the Mr. Jasmer request, that our goal when managing colorimetric testing with SmartChem is to take into account only the color developed by the chemical reaction. This is why we were speaking about the RBL, so the reagent baseline, because when we are reading the color of the cuvette, the color of the at the end of the reaction, we could have 3 different colors in the cuvette: the color of the sample itself that could impact, the color of the reagents that could impact on the wavelength used to read our reaction. And this is why with the reagent blank we can determine the baseline of our reagents and remove it from the final absorbance detected. We can determine the sample blank and remove it from the final color we detect in the cuvette. So at the end, the only color we will take into account to calculate the concentration, the value of each test performed with SmartChem is the only color related to the chemical reaction. There is another question. What is the working principle science of this instrument? So automated discrete analyzer. So the discrete analyzer, they are fully automating and mimic the operation performed by the technician. So it means that each single reaction is performed exactly simulating what the operator needs to do when performing the manual colorimetric testing. So we have the reagents in one plate, we have the samples in another plate, and then we have the reaction plate, which is our manual photometer. So the dispensing arm will take care when, as per the method settings, we take the needed amount of sample, the needed amount of reagent, will follow the different timings, dispensing timing for each reagent, mixing the solution in the cuvette after each dispensation, and we'll wait the end point of the reaction. At that point, the cuvette is automatically positioned in front of the photometer to read the color. There is a question how to make use of this instrument for solid mineral sample testing. So of course, we cannot process solid samples, but we can process all those samples that can be transferred from solid to liquid. So if there is an extraction procedure also from those minerals to extract what you need to analyze, we can then analyze the aqueous solutions. But we cannot run solid testing because we are speaking about wet chemistry testing, of course. There is the request. Of course, we can share with you the application note and the backup method for the monochloramine testing. It will be a pleasure. And as we also said, if you are in the need of trying to automate also other manual testings, manual kits, we are very happy to help all of you to verify with you what are the methods you would like to automate, if we can, and how we can help you. So what detection limits could you achieve for chlorides, sulfates, and sodium? For chloride, we can go from 300 ppb as a detection limit, as quantification limit. For sulfates, we are in between of 500 ppb and 1 ppm. And for sodium, we are, if I'm not wrong, at 1 ppm. There is another question concerning the wastewaters. I'm really happy to provide you with the answer before. No, you are not in the need of wasting the cuvette. Why? Because the cuvette will be automatically checked at the end of each wash. So the integrity check is automatically performed by the system. If the cuvette is okay, you are not in the need. So the software will pop up you, will show you, will report you dedicated colors on each cuvette based on the status of the cuvette itself. So I think I cover your question. Is there much difference between quartz and plastic cuvettes? Of course, the big improvement passing from technical polymer cuvettes to quartz cuvette is concerning the very low methods requiring very, very low quantification limits. Why? Because using quartz, we can reduce the ratio between signal to noise ratio. And of course, we can improve a bit the sensitivity of the instrument with the use of quartz cuvette. The difference is not so huge, but in some cases we can see the benefit of using quartz cuvette instead of technical polymer cuvettes. So all the cuvettes provided in the Q&A area have been managed. Please do not hesitate, don't be shy. If there are questions, you write, and we are really happy to provide you with an answer. If there are no more questions, I think Delphine, consider this webinar session
Yes.
concluded. And again, let me just recall for you, please visit our website, kpmanalytics.com, or contact our sales representative, because we will be very happy to help you and managing with you all dedicated sessions to deepen your needs, understanding your needs, and see if and how we can help you to improve your lab efficiency or streamline the analytical workflow, the analytical routine. So thank you, everybody. Have been really a pleasure for me, an honor to stay here, to have the chance to present our products to all of you. So thanks again, and I hope to see you very soon with also other dedicated sessions. So good evening, good night, and to all.